Hey guys, it is Kabutero, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. By a little bit, I mean it's pretty freaking different. So, as some people know, I am in a draft league known as the PBL. It is a smaller league. There's a couple names you might know. I think most of the analysts from the MBL are in it. We got Harvey, we got Toast, we have Tailwind, we have Jay Perowitz. So, we have all of those guys and a bunch of our other friends as well. And I figure why not take this opportunity for easy content making. I don't have to try anything. I just have to do my battle, do my team, upload a team builder in a battle, and I have a free recording every week. So I'm gonna be cheap. I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna take advantage of it. So yeah. So my first opponent was my friend Aether on the Star and the Hill Goes, as you can see right here. Very scary team. Very scary team. He's got the Garchomp as Z captain. He's got Celebi, Fortress, Vaporeon, Cofagrigus, Licky, Mega Sharpedo, which in the PBL, you do not have to Mega first turn, so Sharpedo can get the speed boost it needs and then Mega and just clean up house. We got the Darmanitan, the Granbull, the Zapdos, and the Glade as well. My team is I've got Buzzwole, the big boy himself, Schwarzenegger Mosquito, or as I call him, the Overcompensquito. We have a Zelf, which is our Z captain. I can run this with Stealth Rocks as well. It can be like a nasty plot sweeper. Don't think it gets Memento, but if it does, that's great for offensive capabilities as well. Decidueye for Defogger, another setup sweeper. U-Turn for pivoting. Just solid Pokemon all around. Some good immunities, like immunity to Spore. Just fighting in normal immunities, that kind of stuff. Tentacruel, absorb the T-spikes, part of my Fire Water Grass core. Can spin away the spikes, set up its own toxic spikes. We got DNC, Cleric, Rocks, Fairy type, good resistances to things. Zipstrika, very versatile Pokemon. It's got all three of its abilities give it immunities. It's got Lightning Rod, Sap Sipper, and Motor Drive. So I can really kind of like fine-tune it to really put a damper on my opponent's plans. Like if I know they have a mon with Spore, I can bring it in on the Spore, maybe like use a Flame Charge to start setting up, and then I can just go through the team. Me first. It gets me first. So like let's say that I'm up against a Nidoking and it goes to Earth Power me. Assuming it's not Scarf, I'll be faster. I me first. I hit it with its own Earth Power, but it also does 50% more damage because of how me first works. So I could just take out his Nidoking for free, essentially. And then we've also got Heatran, more Rocks, Fire type for my Fire Water Grass core, Steel type for my Dragon Fairy Steel core, just very versatile mon, Magma Storm, Taunt, Toxic, all these good moves. Flygon, good Scarfer, good setup sweeper with Dragon Dance, Ground immunity, which my team is kind of lacking so far. I have a Zelf, but the Zelf still gets hit with like the other moves that the ground type would most likely have. Again, Dragon Fairy Steel Core, Defogger, all that good stuff. Mudsdale, I just wanted to use Mudsdale. It's bulky, it hits really hard. My team has some good Trick Room capabilities with maybe like Hammer or Buzzwole. I've got the DNC, a really slow Heatran, the Mudsdale. My next pick, Dragouts, would also fit into that. Speaking of Dragouts, another strong Dragon type, a second Poison type, so I'm a bit weak to Psychic types, especially when I also have Buzzwole in the team. But Decidueye and my next pick also to take care of that. And my last pick is Zoroark. I noticed that my team is filled with Psychics. I also noticed my team gets 6-0'd by fast Ghost types like Gengar. So I picked up Zoroark. Zoroark's not... it doesn't save me exactly because it still takes over 50% from Life Orb Shadow Ball from Gengar. But it's something. So, yeah. So I had to build a team versus Aether's team out of these Pokemon. And as you'll see right here, this is what I came up with. So we've got, first of all, the Overcompensquito himself, Buzzwole, with Superpower, Ice Punch, Lunge, and Roost. So the reason that I made this set the way it is the 56 speed EVs allow me to outspeed max speed Grand Bull. I don't know why he would bring it, but that's the best benchmark I could hit. Everything else on his team was either too fast that I wouldn't be able to outspeed it, or too slow that it didn't really matter. Like, this was the middle ground I could put. HP, EVs, I wanted to be able to have this thing be able to take on even a Psychic Fang's Mega Sharpedo, which I've calced it. It's a 2-hit KO, but I can always sack something, bring it in safely, go for the lunge to even make it weaker. The reason I have lunge over Leech Life is because I have Roost, and lunge would be if he wanted to bring in his, let's say his Darmanitan on what he assumes is a Leech Life, I hit him with a lunge, that lowers his attack, which would then allow me to, unless he's banded, I could live the Flare Blitz, and most likely take him out with a superpower, in combination with the Flare Blitz recall and the Rocky Helmet, get my Beast Boost, and maybe kill something else. Next mon on the team, I grabbed my Azelf, because I needed Stealth Rocks. I didn't run a Z move this week, because I needed the Sash, which you'll find actually really came into play later. So, Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Psychic, those are the standard stuff. Energy Ball, I ran for Sharpedo. That's why I have the Focus Sash, because if things got too dicey, I could bring in a Zelf, take the Waterfall or the Crunch, hit it with the Energy Ball, and that might weaken it enough so that if I still have Buzzwole, I can take it out with that or one of my other mons. Next mon I have is the Mudsdale. Physically defensive, Earthquake, Roar Toxic. The reason I have Payback is because he has a Celebi. So if he wants to go into Celebi on my Mudsdale, I believe the way it works is because I move last, and he technically moved before I did, I get a huge payback off, which even without much investment, it's still base 125. And the power double, so it's a base 100 Dark move. So let's say like he U-turns into Celebi from Darmanitan, I click Payback, and Celebi just takes a huge chunk of damage. And it can't really come in again unless it recovers, and if it recovers, I can just Payback it again. Because I don't think Celebi, maybe Spec Celebi can kill Mudsdale, but as you'll see, it takes some hits pretty well. Next mon is my Zebstrika, Life Orb, Special Sweeper. I had me first over HP Ice, but I was looking at his team more, and I was like, that doesn't really do anything, and I have a bit of difficulty with Garchomp right now. So I did this. Since he has Zapdos, I went for Motor Drive. I wanted to come in on maybe something like a Volt Switch, get my speed boost, then I outspeed something like a Scarf Chomp. Signal Beam for the Celebi, Overheat for his Fortress, and I didn't really have a stronger Electro move than Volt Switch, which will actually, as you'll see in the battle, kind of hinders me a little bit. Next mon, Flygon Jin, Choice Scarf, U-Turn, Dragonclaw, Earthquake, Defog. I had Flamethrower over Defog for the longest time for the Fortress again, because it's such a nuisance. But I was looking at it, and I was like, I have Overheat, I've got plenty of ways, I think, to take out the Fortress. So I'd rather have the hazard removal because of my last mon. I have a Zoroark. For the longest time, I built this team. So we drafted in like late April, early May, and it's just now starting. We just wanted to get the teams drafted and everything. And I made this team within the first couple days of having my team. And this was a Tentacruel for the longest time. Like, the entire period in between the battles. I changed it to a Zoroark right before our battle, because I realized he had a Cofagrigus, and without something to taunt it, or kill it, or whatever, Cofagrigus just 6-0s my team. I can't break through it with any of my Pokemon. So I made a Zoroark, and since I got rid of my Spinner, I needed hazard removal, so I went with Flygon Jin. Flamethrower for the Fortress again, Taunt for the Cofagrigus and the Fortress, and maybe something like the Zapdos or the Celebi, Sludge Bomb for the Grand Bull, and Dark Pulse for good Dark Stab. So we're going to go into the battle. Can I play this? Okay. There we go. So turn 1, he leads off with his Darmanitan. I lead off with my Azelf. I looked at his team right in the preview, And I didn't see Garchomp, which made me glad. I didn't see Granbull, which disappointed me because my Buzzwole's speed means nothing. I could have put that speed into HP or defense even. So I also looked at his team, and I saw he had the Mega Sharpedo, which I was really worried about because it still does a lot of work on my team. So I'll lead off with a Zelf. He leads off with Darmanitan. This is the real Zelf. Before the battle, I should also mention this. I disguised Zoroark as a Zelf because they have very similar moves. A Zelf can learn both Taunt and Flamethrower, as well as U-Turn. So with all of those moves together, it'd be really easy for him to think that this is the actual Zelf for whichever one. So he leads off with Darmanitan. I don't want to lose my Sash, so I go into Mudsdale. He U-turns out, that's fine. I get the stamina boost. I goes into Vaporeon. Now, I'm looking at Mudsdale, and I'm looking at Aether's team, and I'm thinking, Mudsdale really doesn't do anything. It's a good switch into Darmanitan, although looking from that U-turn damage, it's not that good, because Flare Blitz will still do a huge chunk. But it can't beat anything else really on his team. And since I have Toxic, I want to put this Vaporeon on a timer because I don't want it wish passing into like Darmanitan or Cofagrigus or Lord Forbid Sharpedo or Fortress, any of his Pokemon. So I assume he's just going to throw off a Scald just to get whatever comes in. So I'm going to stay in, allow myself to give it the Toxic, and get burned because I know he's going to go for Scald. So I'm going to Toxic the Vaporeon because I just assume that he wouldn't have Heal Bell. So he goes for another Scald. Now I switch because I was thinking he might Heal Bell. I was thinking he might Heal Bell here, but he didn't. So I get the Volt Switch off. Thunderbolt would have probably killed it. So I sack my Mudsdale. So it's looking. Most people think it looks kind of bad right now, but it's fine because I bring in Zebstrika again. Volt Switch to get my kill. The Zebstrika is already pretty weakened. And I go into I believe this is my Azelf again. Goes Darmanitan. I go Flygon because I'm expecting the U-turn. And he sends out the Sharpedo. Now, here's where I kind of just won the match. So, he stayed in with the Sharpedo. And he did not protect. Now, the reason that I stayed in, instead of trying to switch, was that I completely forgot that in Gen 7, you get the speed boost when you Mega. So, Mega Sharpedo has base 105 speed, so it does outspeed Scarf Flygon. However, in the battle, I was still thinking, okay, it'll still be base 95 plus 1 when it Megas, so I'll still be able to outspeed it and kill it with Earthquake, or at least weaken it to the point where it'll die to like Buzzwole's Rocky Helmet. And then none of that matters because the Sharpedo, the biggest threat to my team, just died. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. He goes Cofagrigus. I go hard into Zebstrika as he Calm Minds. I was expecting like a Will-O-Wisp, so I Volt Switch, get the crit, which is unfortunate, and I go right into my Zoroark. As he goes into the Gallade, as I hit it with a Dark Pulse, get another crit, get the Justified boost, now I'm in trouble. So I go into Zebstrika, I sack it off, it doesn't do much else. Overheat would be nice, go into Buzzwole, hit him with the Lunge. I am faster, which is very surprising. Goes into Darmanitan. I just let myself die here to get the chip off on it. So Overcome Speed goes down. Flygon Jin comes out, and at this point, I really just have to keep spamming Earthquake. He does go into Fortress, of course, so I'm going to go right back out into my Zoroark on the Toxic. And I believe I Flamethrower here. Yep. I didn't want to mess around. Wanted to get the Fortress out of the way. That was one of the big things stopping Flygon. So I'm now going to go into my actual Zelf, one of what I know is the Flare Blitz, so the Sash can come in, he can take the damage, and then this is where I know it was Scarfed. This is how I was able to find out I knew it was Scarfed at this point. So I outspeed it, so I click Earthquake, and it goes down. He goes into Cofagrigus. I'm not going to let this thing set up. As he goes for the rest, and I don't want to start anything. So I taunt it. I'm not going to let it sleep talk. I'm not going to let it do any of that stuff. And at this point, yeah, I just win the game. So I just go for Dark Pulse. It just drops, and that's it. I win the game. It looks like a 3-0. It's a 2-0 because Showdown is kind of glitchy with Zoroark. So Azelf did die. Azelf did die because, as you saw, the Darmanitan took it out, which helped me figure out a Scarf. So very good battle for my opponent. I really didn't think I was going to win this because I wasn't like looking at my team throughout the time in between the battle and the drafting to like fine tune it. This is pretty much the exact same team as the beginning, and I just threw Zoroark on over it. And this is actually the first time I've like run a team where I didn't try to get up rocks at all. I usually try to go for stealth rocks, but I didn't have a chance to. But it also didn't really matter because the only thing that took damage from was Darmanitan. So anyway, yep, that's the battle. 2-0 win for the first week of the PBL. I'm very, very happy with that. And yeah, that's going to be it. I'm going to have another battle going up most likely next week. The second week is a 2-week period as opposed to 1 week, but after that we'll settle out into 1-week periods. So yeah, keep an eye out for more PBL goodness. And like, comment, subscribe, all that garbage that I have to say so I can feed my starving family. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.